Recently, I was involved in some conversation concerning the concepts of law, natural order, God's law, brought about by my video, Attraction is Not a Law. While there are many opinions and beliefs about what these words mean, and more importantly, what they connote, it's obvious that a person's idea of law is based upon many factors, including religion, upbringing, political affiliation, and quite often, his or her experience with a country's legal system. So let's take a journey together. Let's explore the idea of laws, the constant state of natural order in the world, and we won't go off the planet today, and mankind's persistent dedication to anthropomorphize the perception of an energy source it calls God. The word law implies legality. Definitions include principles and regulations established in a community by some authority and applicable to its people in the form of legislation and policies recognized and enforced by judicial decision, or any written or positive rule or collection of rules prescribed under the authority of the state or nation as by the people in its constitution. These are the top 2 explanations of the word law in the Random House Dictionary. Of the 19 subheadings defining law, it is not until you read through to items 18 and 19 that the idea of the law of God is raised. Yet, just as the first 17 definitions make perfectly clear, the regulations established in a community have been, and are, created by mankind. So too, the idea of laws of God are also created by mankind. The source of all manifestation, the animator of all life, has no need or desire to create laws. It is needless and desireless. It is humanity that has decided that there must be a God making laws, because that is what humanity does. So God must do it too. Moving along to the concept of natural order, we find the physical universe considered as an orderly system subject to natural, not human or supernatural laws. Here we have the word law again, as though the universe is subject to principles and regulations established by some authority. What authority? Certainly not God's, because God has no need to create laws. God, or Source as I prefer to call it, unfolds, permeates, expands, emerges, is coherently everywhere and nowhere, in space-time and outside of space-time. Again, this creative source does not need a law to emanate itself as experienced in creation. So, if you look at these 2 definitions from an operative standpoint, here is what you might see. Man, creating laws based upon need for power, control, and subjugation, quietly, or perhaps not so quietly, masked as the public's welfare. For instance, not crossing the yellow line in the road while driving is a law, but it is really much more common sense. Disallowing same-sex marriages is a religious need for power and control. Paying for what you purchase is, in essence, an energy exchange. State-controlled professional credentialing laws are based on power, control, and greed, etc. And yes, I know you might say, well, how about the law against murder, rape, or abuse? Good questions. I will ask one in return. Why does mankind need laws to stop him or her from harming another of the same species? And remember, these laws are based upon the country of origin. So what is against the law in one country is not necessarily against the law in another country. The same can be said of religion or any other authority that makes laws to control the population under its jurisdiction. Being raised as a Catholic in what is now fondly referred to as the Old Church, I was told to believe that if I knowingly ate meat on Friday, I would burn in hell forever. In 1966, Pope Paul VI changed all that, making this type of fasting on Friday voluntary based upon the local economic condition. The United States heartily thanked him for this relief, and now U.S. Catholics eat meat on Friday. Mankind's laws change with mankind's perceptions, need for control, power, and beliefs in the moment. The natural world responds to natural order. It is not subject to natural laws, because the very word law is the opposite of natural, which means arising easily or spontaneously. The natural world, that which is not created by mankind, lives according to a rhythm defined by the seasons as defined by the rotation of the earth and the position of the sun. This natural order is in the process of changing even as you view this video. You are experiencing a change in the length of the seasons, how they demonstrate themselves, and the outcome to foliage and the food supply. Natural order is not subject to anything except its response to itself. That is what natural order is. For example, when you look at this very steep hill composed of rocks, dirt, and vegetation, you are viewing what is called the angle of repose, which is the maximum angle of a stable slope determined by friction, cohesion, and the shapes of the particles, or, more simply, the angle of pile forms with the ground. The implication of moving one rock in this pile might illustrate a change in the angle of repose. Moving exactly the right rock could send the whole hillside cascading down into the valley below, utterly destroying its angle of repose. While some might say, well, of course, the rocks are obeying the law of gravity, it isn't true. Gravity is not a law. It is a force of attraction, one which, I might add, mankind has very little knowledge of, if at all. Gravity is part of natural order for this world, planet Earth. Go to the moon and gravity changes. Go further out in the solar system and gravity changes even more dramatically. Mankind has absolutely no idea about the attraction of gravity or not in other solar systems and galaxies. Research is done through computer simulation. Whoops, I said I was going to stay on planet Earth, so let's come back here. When the fruit trees drop their delicious offerings, as they are doing right now, some may fall over the fence into the neighbor's yard. It is natural order that the fruit will follow the path of gravity, the attraction of gravity, and fall straight down. If the limbs are hanging over the neighbor's fence, the fruit will fall there. If the neighbor is cantankerous, he or she may decide that you, through your fruit, have broken the law and trespassed upon his or her property by dropping your fruit there. After all, you are the owner of the trees. The neighbor has beliefs personal to him or her about how the law protects his property. Natural order does not obey those laws. It follows the attraction of gravity. And so now, back to the attraction is not a law video. Attraction, better defined as resonance, is not a law. Your frequency attracts to you exactly what that frequency is vibrating, just like gravity. Your preferences, thoughts, and feelings determine what you are attracting. In this case, it is true that you cannot fool Mother Nature, and Mother Nature constantly breaks mankind's laws. What you are vibrating attracts to itself that which will resonate with it. And it is not a law. It is simply natural order.